So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our online briefing for the Lozells Places for People consultation. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got three council officers here to speak to you, but I'm afraid you won't see us. You'll see our slides, but we are here. So my name's Rebecca Hawthorne. I work in the travel demand management team at Birmingham City Council, and I'm leading on the consultation logistics. Also here tonight is Aoife O'Toole, who works in the transport planning and investment team. She is going to be presenting the scheme to you, talking you through the proposals and giving you a reminder of how to respond to the consultation. And also we have Lewis Tyndall with us, who's one of our graduate transport officers. He's doing the technical side of things, running the live event. During the event, I'm afraid we won't be able to hear you speaking or see you on camera, but there is a Q&A sort of chat box that you can make use of. So you can type your questions in there at any time during the presentation or the Q&A session, and we'll pick those up as we go. What we'll do though is we'll run through the whole presentation, and then we'll have some time where we'll look at those questions and address those. And then, as I say, we've allowed an hour and a half tonight for the session, but I think it may well not take as long as that to run through the session. But yeah, it'll be presentation and then Q&A. So I shall pass over now to Aoife to take us through the proposals.
Hi, good evening. Aoife here now to just take you through these few slides. I'll start by just letting you know what I'm going to tell you. So we have a little piece about the Places for People initiative, the timeline so far and when we are looking to implement the scheme. We'll do a recap on what happened in phase 1, and then we'll have a look at the phase 2 proposals. And at the end, I'll put up a slide with some details about how you can have your say. That will repeat what's already been sent out to households in the area on a letter a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully you've all received that and that you've got those details to hand. Right, so Places for People. I mean, most modern housing estates are designed with just 1 or 2 vehicle access points off a main road. So the only cars that actually go into the estate are those that have business on the estate. So they either live there or they're visiting, or tradespeople coming to do work in the houses. So you'll get less traffic on that estate than you would in areas like Lozells, where people are passing through from main roads one side to the other of the area. So in the new estates, they will have you will be able to walk and cycle through those, but if you can't really cut through the area in a vehicle. So the whole idea of Places for People is to change areas like Lozells that weren't originally built in that way, to try and prevent vehicles from cutting through the side streets from the main roads, and to keep them on the main roads, except if they actually need to go into the areas on the side roads to access properties. So the idea then is that with fewer vehicles on the road, that the streets are safer and more pleasant, less noisy, just less pollution, just fewer cars around, just make it nicer to be outside walking and cycling, hopefully. So just to recap on the timeline, so last year between July and November, we had an online consultation exercise, online only, unfortunately, because we had the COVID restrictions at the time, which meant that we couldn't do any face-to-face stuff. So in September, we delivered the phase 1 proposals. So those were on Finch Road and Archbold Road, Leonard Rowland Road and Lime Grove as well. I'll put up a plan in a second to remind you of those anyway. Then earlier this year, February through to March, we had another online engagement exercise to try and identify issues and get ideas from members of the public about what might be delivered next. We've developed those up into a scheme that we're now currently running the formal consultation on, and this online briefing being part of that formal consultation. So the consultation started on the 18th of November and runs until the 17th of December. Following that, we'll review the feedback that we've had as part of that, develop the scheme further, and then looking to deliver it early in 2022 through an experimental traffic regulation order. The experimental traffic regulation order can be in place for up to 18 months. And then at the end of the 18 months, we need to decide whether we're actually going to make the scheme permanent or not. So here you can see phase one. So the purple arrows are streets that were one way anyway before we even introduced the phase one measures. The blue arrows are the roads that I mentioned earlier that we made one way as part of phase one. So Finch Road outside of Heathfield Primary School, Archbold Road just on the bit that comes onto Lozells Road, around Anglesey School, so Anglesey Street, Graham Street and Church Street, making a one-way loop around the school, and up on Hunters Road, northbound going on to Villa Road. So phase two proposals enlarge upon that and introduce more one-way streets. The idea being that while you can still access all the properties within these areas, it makes the routes less attractive for people that want to travel between Heathfield Road straight down to Lozells Road, or from Lozells Road down to Nursery Road. So the idea being, if these routes are less attractive and more circuitous with more left and right turns to be made, that people are more likely that are just travelling through the area to stay on the main roads. So the phase two proposals are one-way southbound on Leonard Road. We've also got northbound on Rowland Road and westbound on Lime Grove. And those will work together with the one-way measures that are already in place, as I say, just to reduce the traffic going through from Heathfield down to Lozells. And the other way, of course, northbound too. So on the southern side of Lozells Road, it's a bit more extensive in terms of creating a series of one-way loops. And we've also introduced, well, the plan is to introduce another measure. This red dot here is a modal filter on Barker Street. So the modal filter is basically blocks off vehicular traffic, but you can still get through cycling and walking. So if you're wondering what a modal filter looks like, I've got an image of one here, which is a photograph of one that's in place in another part of Birmingham. So these wooden plant blocks will get planted up. This photograph was taken before the planting was put in. I think the one on Finch Road definitely had planting in it the last time I went to have a look. Hopefully some of you are familiar with that and how it looks when it's planted up. And then the bollard in the middle is removable, so emergency services can still get through, refuse vehicles can still get through, and it's just padlocked up after they go through. They just put it back in. So it is. The emergency services can still access if they need to. So in terms of the consultation, hopefully you've had the leaflet through the door. It's being held online. There's an online survey on the Birmingham Be Heard website, which is where we carry out all of the council's public consultations. There is information available at Birchfield Library. I'm advised that if you do want to go and look at it in person in the library, that you should go and check the opening times before you head out. I'm not sure of the opening times there at the moment. You can also send any questions to this email address, so that's connected@birmingham.gov.uk. We will be responding to those, but it might take us a few days to get round to responding, depending on the volume of emails that we get through. So if you do drop an email, like I say, just give us a few days to get back to you on those. We also have one in-person drop-in session planned, which is this day week. So at the Lighthouse Young People Centre, some of the council officers, myself included, will be there to take questions, provide clarification on the plans, and just have a chat generally about anything that you don't understand from the plans that have been sent through. And that is about the end of my slides. So I'll go back to display the phase two proposals. I'll keep those on the screen while we have a look to see if there have been any questions.
Thanks for that, Aoife. We've not had any questions during the presentation, but I'll just give a moment or two in case anybody wants to raise anything now. No, I don't think we've got any questions raised this evening, but a reminder to people that if you do think of something after watching, or indeed if you're watching the recording back because you couldn't make the event and you have got any questions, that we have got the connected@birmingham.gov.uk mailbox, and also that will be available next week on the 8th of December at the Lighthouse Centre in Lozells. Thank you everyone for coming along. It's been a fairly short and sweet session this evening, but thank you for giving up your time. And yeah, please do respond to the consultation. The closing date for that one is the 17th of December. So make sure you get your responses in before then. Thank you.